I haven't seen Evil Dead 2 yet. What would you think?
I think that you're a cinematic idiot, and I feel sorry for you.
All right. Why?
Because it's a brilliant film. It's so funny and violent, and the soundtrack kicks fucking ass. I never thought I'd say this, but can I go work now?
Welcome to another episode of What the Hell Did We Just Watch? I'm your host, as always, Louis Vargas. I'm here right now, live, speaking to you, the audience. Who else do I got with me?
The not-so-good-looking John.
Yes.
He's here in the house.
And for the very first time, we're by ourselves.
That's
it's just
it.
you and I.
Yep, that's it. That's all we need.
Well, the reason why I brought you here is just you and I is because this is going to be a Real Talk Rant segment of this show. The Real Talk Rant segment. Mm-hmm. There, I said it correct just in case anybody got mad that I slurred it. Now, you're going to hate me, John.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you really are.
That's hard.
Because you were on me with the first Real Talk Rant. You know what the show is about, this part of the show. And I'm going to tell you something that is negative about the positive things of the wonderful world of movies. So here it is. And I'm going to call this Nolan-omics.
Okay, here we go.
Nolan-omics, like economic, but yeah. Nolan-omics. This is episode 10. This is going to be a special one because I wanted to, episode 10, it's a big deal for me. So I wanted to make it a big deal show.
Okay, here we
go.
I already know where you're going with this one.
No, you're kind of, not really.
All
not
right.
really.
Well, as soon as you said Nolan, man.
Nolan,
okay.
Yeah. And this is actually what the title of this Real Talk Rant, what the topic is.
All right.
And I'm just going to say the statement. It's not going to be topic. It's going to be the statement. Okay? And here it goes. Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
Fucked up the comic book genre.
Here we go. All right. No, he did. All right. All right. All right.
I believe that he did.
Come on. How?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna
say what you got to say.
Before I go, no. I'm gonna tell you when it was that it happened, but I'm gonna let you defend your answer, what it is. Okay.
Okay.
But when I first saw Batman Begins, I was blown away. Right?
Okay.
I saw The Dark Knight. I was amazed. I didn't think that it could be anything better than that. You know what I mean? So then when The Dark Knight Rises came out, and I said it was just as amazing, but then at the same time walking out that theater, I didn't tell anybody. I kept it to myself, but I did say it. And I told only one person, which is my cousin. And I said, Christopher Nolan fucked up the comic book genre. He did. I said it almost immediately after Dark Knight Rises came out. You know? So go right ahead. I mean, you said no, he didn't. Tell me why he didn't.
Nah, man, he did. He definitely did it. I would say he actually made it better. I am completely opposite with that statement.
Well, let me just get this straight.
All right.
I'm going to say one thing. I didn't say he made 3 bad movies. He made 3 amazing movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think he fucked up the comic book genre.
But with that statement alone, saying that he messed up the comic book genre, as far as how? Like, as far as what...
Cinematically, he did.
Cinematically?
Yes.
How? I don't see how. I think he raised the standards for what they should be, not lower them.
And that is exactly the reason why I feel he fucked it up. Because he raised the standards.
Is that so much a bad thing?
It's both good and bad. Good because it forced other comic book movies at the time when Batman Begins came out to be a better quality movie. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, like, you know, other people that were making comic book movies at the time, and I'm even sure Marvel, when they were doing the cinematic universe, because it was just the beginning at the time when Batman Begins came out. You know what I mean? They were kind of like starting up, they're writing stuff. Iron Man was about to come out and all this and that. So they just said, we need to make a better quality movie because look what Batman Begins did. It's a better quality comic book movie. You know, am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Anybody out there in the podcast world disagree with me? Because I will give them that.
Leave your comments below. You know.
Yes, leave your comments below because I would like to know what you did, because there's no way, shape, or form that he didn't set a new standard in quality of filmmaking for comic book films.
Well, because you had such a good director, and he has such a vision when it comes to like seeing it his way of things, like he has such a unique vision, especially if you've watched his works. Like you could tell, like he sees things differently than most directors do.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, so it's like the way he did it, I think he definitely improved Batman as a character, especially when it came to his movies, because you definitely saw the mortal side of Batman, Bruce Wayne, So it's like, and he definitely, and as far as like his villains goes, that in the movie, he definitely improved the way they look. Like, especially when it came to Bane, if you've read the comics, he looks like a nymphomaniac with the way he's dressed. Like, come on, he looks like a sex slave running around that's able to like mess people up. I mean, you can't take him seriously, especially how like he looks in the comics. Like, what the heck's he doing? Wearing like this Freddie Mercury looking outfit with a mask. I'm serious, Like,
I understand.
And then when you see Bane and Dark Knight Rises, it's like, holy crap, what the hell? Like you are literally afraid of him. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
Just the way the vision of like everything he does, especially the way he made Gotham, in his movies. Just, of course, he's gonna raise the standards. Like it's judging, comparing the other Batman movies where it looks like a Tim Burton influence movie compared to,
what that became.
Exactly. So, and the fact that the comic genre like actually adapted from Christopher Nolan's ways of, of his ways of how Gotham looks, it's completely, I wouldn't say he ruined it. I would say he actually made the way to how it should be.
Now, here's where I disagree with you with that last statement that you said. These three films made people think that that's the only way that we should be given a comic book movie now.
That's okay. I definitely hear you on that one.
And what I mean by that is that we were recently just given a new Batman. Ben Affleck is a new Batman.
I think he's doing an incredible job too.
Not to a lot of people's standards, because they feel that Christian Bale is the Batman that should be that they feel is their Batman. Okay. Same thing goes for Superman, but this was when Man of Steel first came out. You know what I mean? Everybody looked up to Christopher Reeve. You know what I mean? So Christopher Reeve was their Superman. Even when Superman Returns came out, we didn't accept the new guy as Brandon Routh. We didn't accept him as a Superman.
Because he definitely wasn't, man.
I thought he looked like one.
Nah.
I thought he could have been one.
Nah, definitely not, man. I'm sorry.
You really didn't see it?
I did see it. The Henry Cavill, the new one?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think he's better than Christopher Reeves. 100%.
A lot of people might disagree with you.
Of course they will. And I'm waiting for the disagreements.
This is what I mean about what I'm trying to say. Because it doesn't, even though it's called Nolan-omics,
yeah,
I'm having a beef in general with the way that we are as an audience when it comes to comic book films. Especially DC. And the reason why I'm saying especially DC is because Marvel does not have this problem yet.
Yeah.
Because there has never been another Iron Man before Robert Downey Jr. There has never been a Thor, one that you can really say. You know what I mean? Yes, there was another Captain America, but it was so old nobody even remembers it. I do, because I'm an old bastard. It was in 1990, and that Captain America nobody remembers. But what I'm trying to say is that the reason why Nolan destroyed the comic book genre is because we feel now, I bet you $1 million, that Ben Affleck's Batman, he's coming with a solo Batman film, right? People are already expecting it to be as good as the Dark Knight trilogy. And I think that's unfair.
That is, yeah. I definitely agree with you on that, though. Like, I could definitely see your perspective on it. But
like, people are already putting, like, their, like, mental kind of, like, cogs, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Oh, it's going to be like Christian Bale's Batman.
Yeah. I think people just really need to get out of that. And, like, I definitely see where you're coming from with that. Because the way he did it, it's just so... It's believable. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's also what I hate about it.
I know there's no like I could definitely see why you would hate that, but
And
like,
I'm not shitting on it. They were a great 3 movies, but I'm speaking in a way because I could, just like in a comic book series and graphic novels. We're comic book readers, right?
absolutely, yes.
We know how to separate Batmans when it comes to different kind of stories. You know, obviously, you know, Batman from the Detective Comics is not the same as the Arkham series.
Yeah, definitely.
We
not.
know that Batman Eternal is not the Dark Knight Rises or the Dark Knight Returns. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're not the same Batman. You know what I mean? They take him. They like to tell their own stories, whether it's like a graphic novel. They tell it's all enclosed, you know, and they tell a story. But people, we know as comic readers how to separate Batman.
Yeah.
The film people don't. The people that watch movies don't. So when there were some people, believe it or not, that thought Ben Affleck's Batman was Christian Bale's Batman, and that baffled me. And I'm like, how?
Yeah.
On what?
There's no way it can be. No way.
On what existence? He doesn't even look the same.
Yeah.
Like even like suit, body frame. Like you obviously can see that they went for a different looking Batman to start off the new cinematic universe that DC has. So why are we getting confused?
Well, because, you know, I'm going to tell you why right now. Because if you take the comic readers, the people who can separate the Batman, you know, in different ways from the general population, it is really like, you know, 1% out of the whole population that could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I got you.
yeah, so it's like, now they got to try to make a movie, because when I go see the DC movies, it's definitely for the people who actually know about their comics.
And again, why I'm trying to tell you that Christopher Nolan fucked up that comic book genre, because he gave us characters, though they were cool, they only exist in his world. Here's an example. We can't get the more supernatural characters that Batman has in his world because Nolan's 3 movies are too realistic. That's why Bane looked the way that he does, and not the way that he looks like in the cartoon or in the comic books. Though he may look silly at times, some people still prefer that version. If you're an avid comic book reader and you like the way your comic book characters look, I understand where you're coming from, is what I'm saying. Like, so now that trilogy's done, and now DC says, hey, why don't we start this cinematic universe and literally be comic booky about it? Well, what do you mean, Mr. DC? I mean, let's have Batman stand in front of Doomsday and have to fight him alongside with Superman and Wonder Woman.
I love that.
But
that was so awesome. Like, I mean, okay, now I could nitpick it too, but at the same time though, it's like, I've actually heard the opposite with Ben Affleck's Batman. Me personally, I thought he did an amazing job. And and everybody who I talked to about it, everybody else says he did an amazing job as Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody, I think when it comes to Ben Affleck, his past kind of haunts him from being amazing in this movie, if you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
I see what you're saying, but the thing is, not that I disagree with you, but I don't see what you're saying, because ever since he was casted, I knew he was going to blow it out the water.
Of course.
Even before I even seen him in the outfit, for God's sakes.
Like you said before, there are going to be people who disagree with you because of the fact he did Daredevil.
Yeah, but most people will also disagree with me because they'll say no, Christian Bale was better. Just for that simple argument. And I'm like, you know what? That's not even an argument. And
that's like a very falsified argument, even if you try to, have an argument.
Yeah, it's not right.
You can't compare because you didn't do Batman yet.
It's not right.
Yeah.
And we'll get to the Joker part of it, but I want to stick with the Batman side of it. Why?
Absolutely.
Because there's been 6 Batman? No?
Yeah, George Clooney, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer,
Christian Bale. And, I mean, even though you don't count it, you got Adam West. And then you got him. But
did he do a movie? He did. Actually, yeah, you're right.
He was Batman.
But
Adam West.
Not for the TV show though, but like he actually did
There was a Batman movie. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So.
And what I'm trying to say is that if we in a generation can just forget that there's been this many Batman, and then realize what the vision is what you should be more concerned about instead of who's playing Batman. Because look, here's my defense. Outside of Ben Affleck, whether he was good or bad, that's your opinion. But I can tell you this, and this is actually fact. He's the most comic book accurate Batman we've ever had.
I agree with you 100%.
And the reason why I'm saying this, and we're going to clarify by what I mean by that, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Christian Bale fans out there that are like, no. Yes, he is the most comic book accurate Batman that's ever been on film ever. Why? Because the Christian Bale one is not taken from a comic book. His look is not from a comic book. His bat suit is not taken from a comic book. Okay? Yeah, they took like little pieces. They took some like Batman Year One stuff with a little bit of the Long Halloween comic graphic novel and stuff like that. But that's it. You know what I mean? And that's both good and bad. I mean, and it's bad now. It was great back then because there was no cinematic universe. You still were doing movie per movie. You creating your own universe and all this and that. So, but now it's a different way to look at things. And now we live in a world where we can have our favorite superhero look like 90% accurate to what we see in the books. And is there something wrong with that?
No, not at all.
You know what I mean?
Not
like,
at
come
all.
on. Say what you will about Batman versus Superman, but you're not going to tell me that if you were a real like comic book person and shit like that, that you weren't ecstatic to see on screen 3 of the biggest superheroes of all time right there. It's bigger than to me. It was bigger than seeing the Avengers together. You know, when you see that Trinity shot,
It was definitely like a first. It was definitely, had that moment where it's just like, holy shit, it's about to go down.
yeah.
But staying on topic, would you rather? Okay, now here's a question to you: would you rather? Now, let's say if you had an option with the whole between Ben Affleck and Christian Bale, would you rather see Christian Bale with the trio shot? Would you rather see Christian Bale as Batman still, or would you have given Ben Affleck a chance?
2 reasons why I like it better being Ben Affleck. 1, Christian Bale's Batman is enclosed in a universe that if you were to like take him out, and here it is. Do you think in the Dark Knight trilogy we could see Doomsday? Can you picture Doomsday in Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy?
To be honest, I would rather see Christopher Nolan's take on Doomsday. I would definitely love to see it.
But you realize that he wouldn't exist. That kind of a supernatural character does not exist in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
And that's why I can't picture it.
Yeah.
Because I think that they would go the route and like create a suited man that goes by the name Doomsday,
I don't
as
know,
opposed to like an experiment gone wrong, and he turns into. I can't see a monster in his movies. I can't.
Know.
That's why Bane wasn't a monster.
Yeah, okay, but look at it like this though. Even when it came to Man of Steel, Christopher Nolan definitely had something to do with that. Was he not a producer, or was he?
He was a producer, but he actually had no writing. He had no writing stuff on there. He was just a guy behind the scenes. When you're a producer, you're really not doing anything. You're just kind of saying yes and no and saying some input.
I don't know. I'm just saying, as soon as I saw Christopher Nolan on there, I would assume that he would have something to say.
Warner Brothers did that because it's coming off the heels of the Dark Knight trilogy. And we, as movie watchers, we got accustomed to this man's name in the comic book genre. So they kind of try to like throw him in there. Because if you notice, Suicide Squad, his name is on there.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? They just kind of did it. So even Nolan's name is in Batman vs Superman as well. It is.
It is?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
didn't-
But it's slowly coming out because he really doesn't have anything to do with this series. They just kind of use this name to try to. He's like, oh, Nolan's name is on there, so it has to be good. You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of like a ploy with what Warner Brothers did, so they can just like get those same people that were on the Dark Knight trilogy to jump over and say, yeah, we could watch this Man of Steel movie.
But in regards to the whole Nolan-omics, I do agree with you that I could now that you explained it, I mean I guess I could see how it kind of ruined the cinematic universe part of the.
What it ruined is that people's aspects, and I think that we're spoiled because this is one thing that I also have to tell you. Though we were graced with an awesome trilogy of stories of Batman, we lost so much more than what we actually gained, in my opinion. And this is what I mean. We gained excuse me, we gained 3 awesome stories, right?
Yeah.
But we lost, this is what we lost. We lost a Batman with no Robin. Meaning Robin cannot exist in this universe for 2 reasons. One, there was no story-driven part where he would need a partner. And it's already the 3rd movie, and then he had to retire because he was done. 2, behind the scenes, Christian Bale says that if they add a Robin to the story, he'll walk. He actually said that. You can actually look it up and read that. He says he will quit being Batman if a Robin was put into the story. How does that make you feel? The reason why I'm asking...
That's just... From what I heard that he was very difficult when it comes to working with.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but
yeah.
At the same time, it's like, okay, well, you know what though? You know, at first he really was by himself, if you think about it. But because if you
yes and no.
If you think about the way Batman was,
yeah,
he always wanted to be by himself to begin with.
Yeah, but he was also a person that also had needed to admit when he needed help at the same time. This is what I'm trying to say. In the comic book world, yes, Batman was by himself for a while, but now Batman has been with Robin for so long that in the comic book world, for comic book readers, when was the last time you read a Batman book where Robin wasn't in it? It's very hard. It's kind of a package deal now, is what I'm saying, in the comic book world.
If you think about it, Frank Miller. At first, he was by himself.
In what, Dark Knight Returns?
Yeah.
And what did he get halfway through?
He eventually got...
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like it's a package deal in a way. Even if you start off where Batman's by himself, he is going to end up with a Robin by the end of this movie. And that's actually also one of the things that I appreciate in Batman vs. Superman is because though there is no Robin right now, they acknowledge that there's a Robin in the universe.
Yeah.
So it's only a matter of time before he gets a new Robin. And I'm betting my money on the solo Batman movie that it will end with him getting a Robin.
Yeah. You know what? Possibly. You're probably right. You know what? I really do think that, even though Christopher Nolan raised the standards of how Batman should be, at the same time, I kind of like the approach of how DC is, trying to stray away from that.
And I agree with them. And I think it's unfair. And hence why I feel like we as a people are kind of shitting on them. And maybe there's some merit to some of the people, what they have to say. But I feel that a lot of those merits are not just... You know what I mean? They're not justifiable because they want to watch Batman, but they have their eyes set and their sound set on Christian Bale, and Batman, he's associated. Christopher Nolan has to be. No, he's done. And this is in no way Christopher Nolan's fault. Yeah. You create something, you don't expect it to turn into something else, and we as a watchers, we turn it into that. Not Christopher Nolan. He didn't come out and said, I'm going to make the Batman movie trilogy of all time, and they're going to be unmatchable. Yeah. He didn't say that.
And I won't lie to you. I was one of those people that really was hoping for them to take the series, The Dark Knight world, and connect it somehow with Superman. I was really praying on
But you thought that before Man of Steel or after you watched it?
Before Man of Steel.
Okay, because you realize that when you watch it, you're like, oh, hell no. There's no way, shape, or form that Christian Bale could ever exist in this world. Christian Bale's Batman.
I was kind of hoping. It's still, even after, but, as soon as I watched Man of Steel, I saw that there was no way, shape, and form that,
That beginning, the way Krypton looked. There's no way.
Absolutely. Yeah,
there's no way.
Because, it's, like you said, it's two different universes, if you think about it. The way, they made it look on Krypton. It was just like, that's two
leaps and bounds in terms of like imagination and tone and all that stuff.
Exactly, two different tones, two different worlds in general. Not literally, but like I'm talking about like the universe, just two different universes, And it's like, even if they were to try to connect it, I mean, I don't know. I think even trying to connect Christopher Nolan's Batman with the world that it is now, it's just not possible. It's really not possible.
It is
Like,
impossible. And people kept asking me, like the people that I was like telling what my topic was gonna be, and they're like saying, "How could it be impossible? I don't get it." And I'm like, and this is what segues into the next part of what I'm trying to say. I'm tired of inaccurate depictions of both villains and superheroes in films. Like to the point where it's just like you're fucking it up in this kind of way. And that's what they mean to tell me, like, well, how can it not be possible? I was like, there's no supernaturalism in the Nolan trilogy. None whatsoever. You know what I mean? And this is what I mean. Ra's al Ghul, if you're a DC fan and you read, Batman or Green Arrow and stuff, anything where Ra's al Ghul is, what is Ra's al Ghul?
Yeah, he's like, he's immortal.
You just said it right there. You don't gotta say no more.
Yeah,
he's immortal.
I was just gonna say, like he has that regen pool.
He has exactly. He literally has a fountain of Eden, so to speak.
Fountain of youth.
Of youth. No, I said fountain of Eden.
I was like,
he has a fountain of youth, so to speak. Now, what I'm trying to say is did you get any kind of hint of Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul to be that way?
You know what? You never know. But at the same time, no.
No, because he died, so obviously he's not immortal.
No, yeah, true.
And they met in Dark Knight Rises. They kind of hint, because he has that one scene, like he sees a ghost. So it's like he's immortalized only in Batman's mind.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And he used that, like, I told you I'll live forever. I'm like, bitch, like, you can't sell me that bullshit. Like, it's a metaphor. So his immortalization is literally a metaphor.
That was just only one way to kind of try to mess with your head, thinking that, Bane was the son of Ra's al Ghul.
Which was fine. I liked that angle, and that was fine.
That was a good angle. But at the same time, it was just like, I see your point. You really don't get that sense of fantasy of actually believing that he had a fountain of youth where he could just, like, if he gets hurt or if he's about to die, he just crawls towards that fountain and just dumps himself in there.
Yeah. So like when I watched Batman Begins, and as much as I did love it, it's kind of like a chip off the shoe. It's like, damn. And that's why I'm done with fake inaccurate villains and inaccurate heroes, especially in this part of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Ra's al Ghul is immortal. We, in the DC world, now can have a Ra's al Ghul, and he will be immortal. Because they're going that route now where they can tell a story and be supernatural. I mean, Doomsday's just set that record straight. I can't wait to see who else is going to be put on the platter.
If talk about inaccuracies, I didn't like how they did Doomsday.
Well,
that was inaccurate. He was
his look. You're talking about his look, but I'm trying to say like what he can do. He does. He gets hurt.
That part
gets stronger.
But from what I remember, and I probably haven't read the comic yet, where he could shoot lasers from his eyes.
He did do that.
When?
In the movie?
I'm talking about in the comic book.
The comic book.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about that's inaccurate. He's more on. He actually looks more like Subject 17.
You mean you're trying to say that he's more like on a Hulkish level, where he's just a brute strength.
He looks like an actual character from the DC universe called Subject 17.
Okay, explain to everybody what Subject 17 is.
He's what you see in Batman vs Superman. That's exactly what he almost looks like, except for the part where, and I probably I haven't looked into him as a character yet, but at the same time, he looks like Subject 17 from before, where he actually started growing the spikes. That's when you could see, okay, that's Doomsday. You know what I'm saying? But like,
technically, I mean, but is he Kryptonian or is he of Kryptonian cells? Subject 17.
Yeah. He was an
Let me ask you
that
this.
happened that started from like a while ago on Krypton. If I got the story correctly, and to the viewers or to the listeners, if I do have it incorrectly, just please comment section below. But at the same time, from what I understand, to my understanding, he was an experiment from a while ago on Krypton, where he,
but like Doomsday.
Yeah, like Doomsday. But the way they did it in the movies, they just used, and this is spoilers, they used Zod's dead body to bring about Doomsday.
You know what's funny? Because I needed to look at him. Yo, not for nothing, he does look exactly like, whatchamacallit. Subject 17 looks exactly like the character in Batman vs. Superman.
Do you see my point? Yeah.
But let me just say something real quick. The only person that said Doomsday were two people, actually.
Lex
us. No, but us, we called it Doomsday. Why? Because Lex Luthor said, "Your Doomsday."
Yeah.
No one
true.
else called it Doomsday.
Come on.
So DC might have something under their sleeve where they will tell you that he was a Subject 17. They can say that later because they never gave him an actual name.
I guess, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess.
The fact that you say that, and I took a little picture of him, I'm like, yo, this fucker looks exactly like Subject 17.
And on top of that, Subject 17 does shoot lasers from his eyes. So I think they just, like, to me, I think that it was kind of messed up to, take a character and call it Doomsday.
Uh-huh.
And to see your point saying that, well, it's not official.
Yeah, no, it's not official.
Yeah,
but for all we know, that could have been Doomsday, meaning the film adaptation version of it.
But I was just like, that's why I was a little disappointed. I'm like, you know what? But Doomsday was a monster. Not to say that
the one that we got wasn't.
Yeah, that he was definitely a monster that was doing self-destructions all over the place.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like the Doomsday that I read in the comics was literally Doomsday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he took on the whole Justice League at the time. And even though Wonder Woman and Batman were not included, but he was just all the superheroes you saw that he was just bashing on them.
Yeah.
He was just killing everybody.
Yeah.
And and then when you see him going against Superman, it's just like, holy crap. You know? And this is just the comics. Now, I was just waiting for them to actually make a movie based on Doomsday, and then we got it. Batman vs. Superman. At the end, you saw what appears to be Doomsday. And I really hope to God that wasn't Doomsday, that eventually they could correct that and be like, oh, you know what? That was Subject 17.
They still can. And they actually can do it realistically, too, because this thing was created with Kryptonian technology, but it wasn't necessarily completely Kryptonian technology because they used the human's blood to make it.
Yeah.
So they can actually say it's a Doomsday-like character, but it really wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it's kind of hard to kind of change.
They can go back. I'm just saying they left it open where they can go back, and it wouldn't be weird or forced.
It's still early.
Exactly.
And in regards to the whole Nolan-omics, another reason why it would be impossible to connect the two is because of the different Jokers. Heath Ledger, and I think he did a phenomenal adaptation to what Joker should be. You try to recreate that now, getting a new actor.
I don't think it would work, and they will just call him a wannabe.
It would never work.
They would call him a wannabe.
Never work.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair. And then I'm gonna shoot him down like from his cloud, and I've spoken to you about it before.
Yeah.
I love Heath Ledger. He did a great job as Joker, but he only did a good job being Christopher Nolan's Joker.
Exactly.
Okay, exactly. And this is what I mean by that. That Joker does not exist in the comic book series. Talking about inaccurate depictions of characters, whether it was for good or bad. And this is what I'm trying to say that upset me. People hold this thing high, so high, and it's always the ones that don't know anything about comic books. And I'm like, yo, do you realize that it's the farthest thing away from a Joker ever? I'm talking, and this is what I mean. You got one that's got scars on his mouth that makes it look like he got a smile on his face. Yeah, that's cool and all. But we all know Joker became Joker because he fell in a vat of toxic chemicals.
But you don't think that he raised the standards for what a Joker should be?
Acting wise, yes. Accurate depiction of a Joker, no.
Yeah. And
if he plays such an amazing Joker, then how come his Joker was never reenacted in comic books? Why didn't they make a version of his? I'm talking about like make a straight up original story and make a Joker that's like his.
If you think about it, they actually did it. There was a worse Joker than him.
What do you mean, like a worse Joker, like the way that the Joker was?
The way.
Okay.
Yeah, the way.
I mean,
it
come
looks.
on. There's been some really bad ones. I mean, we're talking about the man that shot Barbara, the man that killed Robin.
Yeah, but
you know
did
what
you
I mean?
ever see the Joker in? If I have the correct Joker, Death in the Family.
Yeah, man.
The one
that he fucking murders Robin.
Yeah,
right there with a crowbar.
No, or I should say Death of a Family. The one.
Are
Where
you talking about the sequel, the one that has like a face thing
attached to his?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah. That one I didn't read yet.
Oh man, come on!
Yeah.
Don't you think that Joker alone is way creepier than the scarred up Joker that we got in the cinematic?
I agree
universe?
because the thing is that we. Like, for instance, the Joker that Heath Ledger is, he's more like the sarcastic version of what Joker should be. And this is what I mean. Like, obviously, Joker has this, like, contagious laugh.
Yeah.
He, whatchamacallit, Cesar Romero had it in the Batman in 1966. Jack Nicholson had it in 89.
He did.
And even this one did. Jared Leto, he had that kind of, like, contagious laugh. He laughed a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. The laughter part of it. Heath Ledger was more like, ha ha, hoo ha ha. Remember that scene when he walks into the thing?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like he's making fun of the way that he is supposed to be.
No, he definitely had a laugh, especially when he was getting his ass kicked by Batman. And that was a very contagious laugh too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though it was in like.
No, what's the part that you talk about when he's kicking him down? He was more like, like it wasn't really laughing. It was more like making fun of him. Because he was like, remember like the guy got electrocuted? And then he was like, and he laughed at that?
Yeah.
That's the only time you really hear laugh. You really don't hear laugh.
I was talking about the interrogation room where he got his head bashed into the window and they thought that he was going to kill Joker. And as soon as he gets his, head
when
bashed.
Did he laugh? I mean, he was like laughing while he was talking, but like, when can you say he actually Joker laughed there?
When he got his head bashed in, he's just like, but right before he said, there's nothing you got on me.
Yeah.
You're not going to break your only rule. And,
Yeah.
Right before right after he got his head bashed in, he just did that, laugh. Like, even though it was a small, like, just 2 seconds of a laugh, it was still like kind of like a homage to the laugh that the Joker gives all the time. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, the one in Death of a Family, that Joker, I really think that, not to go off topic here, but I really think they should have concentrated on that more now. Yeah. Because I think that's the Joker everybody deserves. The sinister Joker. Yeah. I mean, even though Jared Leto now is,
but I still think that he has a lot more to open up to.
Absolutely.
It's like I think I told you this. I think it was you that I told you. I think that we're still owed a Joker that has to be in front of Batman. Once that happens, then we should say something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because every Joker that we're talking about has had his, mix up with Batman. And that's when we really determine whether or not we should accept this Joker. You know what I mean? And though I personally did like what I see. Yeah. I liked what I saw in Jared Leto. I think he has a potential to be something super amazing. Especially like, we have a 20-year-old Batman. We have a 20-year-old Joker. You know what I mean? So like, there's so much stuff there. There's so much in the past that I can't wait to learn of from him, and then whatever he actually can bring to the table, because they can still do that whole Dark Knight Returns thing where he can be that guy a little bit. Not necessarily that one that was super calm and like remember when like Batman threw a batarang in his eye and he was like, "Are you crazy?" Like I think that's so fucking cool, that scene, because it's like he's crazy and he took himself out and called him crazy for throwing a batarang at his eye.
But like, on the whole Nolan-omics thing, and I really think that people should. I think what DC's trying to do, and I think like we mentioned this earlier in the while we were talking, but I think they are doing a fantastic job as far as trying to stray away, because I think they know themselves now that like Christopher Nolan really did a good job with those 3 films to the point where all the fans now are just like, we want that.
But it's not fair because if you want,
not fair,
if you want what Nolan's giving you, he's not going to give you too much.
But at the same time, though, this universe, the DC universe, if you think about it, just started, and it has a lot of competition on themselves because of the fact that you got Marvel, who is just a cinematic universe tyrant.
Yeah, they've been doing it now for over 10 years.
So they could keep bashing on it, but at the same time, I think DC universe, the cinematic universe, I should say, they know what they're getting them in. Like, they know what they're getting. Yeah, I can't talk. They know what they're getting themselves into as far as like what's ahead, because they're still new. They're still new.
This is what I give them so much credit on. And before I say this, I do want to say this. DC, you know what? Not DC. Warner Brothers, they need to chill the fuck out. Let DC do the movies that they're supposed to do. Stop doing this cutting shit. Stop toning your shit back. And I get it. You trying to get that PG-13 crowd and all that, and I totally get it, because you do got to get more butts in the seats. But try not to trim your movie so much that you're fucking up the experience.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because as much as I did I loved Suicide Squad for what I saw. I actually am one of the people that loved it. But I also saw that there's so much more there. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, you're selling me short, bro. Yeah. Like, I know that I loved it, but I could have really thought it was a gem, if I would have seen what I know is there, what I know is filmed. You know what I mean? Because I've seen scenes. It's not just the ones that are in the trailer. I've seen scenes that look magical, especially from the Joker. Yeah. You know what I mean? And more Harley stuff before she's Harley Quinn. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, but what I'm trying to say is that I actually commend them so much because they see a cinematic universe without having to copy what Marvel's doing. And I see what they're doing, and they might be poorly executing for some people's opinions. I don't see that. No. I actually see what they're doing. I see what kind of world they're trying to build. And I, for one, am all for it, because 3 movies in, and I still see stuff that Marvel hasn't even done once yet.
Yeah, and I truly, and definitely, I agree with you 100%. And I truly like how they introduced so many Batman villains in one movie, and now I thought that was a perfect way to do it.
And one Flash enemy, Captain Boomerang, one Flash guy.
Yeah, what Flash? But but that was a very good way of, introducing, Killer Croc. I would have never thought that they could have put him in a movie.
You want to know what's crazy? That was non-CGI.
That's
really, makes it even fucking cooler.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like, I was like, wow. Like, that was really...
Like, that's another thing. Here we go, back to Nolan. Can you see, though they made the Killer Croc joke in The Dark Knight, was it? No, Dark Knight Rises. I can't see Killer Croc in his movies.
It was
either.
Possible. I think...
Not like that.
Not like that, though, but I think Christopher Nolan would have took it, like you said, like a realistic route.
Like what I took. Like, for instance, something even as simple as Riddler couldn't work in his movies. And this is what I mean. Yes, Riddler could work. The actual man will. But you realize he wouldn't walk around with a cane with a question mark. No, but you realize that he wouldn't walk around with a bright green suit. He might wear an off green suit. And he wouldn't have question marks all over it.
No, but at the same time, he would have done it in such a way where it was cool.
He would have found the coolness of it. Yeah. But like Ra's al Ghul, I still would have been like, but I'm a little disappointed because I still would have loved to see the Riddler. Because the Penguin wouldn't exist in the Nolan universe. He would have to be a mafia guy. But he wouldn't be short. He wouldn't have a long nose. He wouldn't be Penguin like. They might make him like the way they make him on Gotham, where he has like a limp.
I don't know.
Like a penguin walk, but that's it.
I'm just curious to see how he would have done it now. Selena Kyle.
The realistic version of it, yeah.
Selena Kyle, the Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think, now going back to the Nolanomics.
You like that word, don't you?
I love that word because it's true. It is true.
It is.
What you said, it's true. But like, I don't think back to let me just, my mind is all
Yeah, I know there's so much to go with.
Yeah, but the thing is though, like Christopher Nolan, I think he really did a good job as far as raising the standards, like I said before.
And quality storytelling, comic book movies.
Exactly.
100% I agree with you with that.
And I think it's a very, I disagree with the fact that it ruined the whole way of doing things. I disagree with that because there's such a standard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now it's just like now the next director the next director, the next writers, how are they need to match up to that. And I think that it's going to bring the best out in a lot of people to, make such a good movie.
To make a better movie.
To make such a good movie.
Well, let me ask you this. Are they not?
No, they are.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, but there are people that don't seem to think so because they don't think that this imaginary shoe that Nolan created, that people think that there's a shoe, and they don't think that they're filling it because it's unfair. Like, you got Man of Steel, and everybody was walking in there saying, hey, it has to be as good as the Dark Knight trilogy, right? And they go in there and it's not. And I think that seeing it with those eyes is the reason why you're shitting on it. When you should be going in there and seeing a brand new Superman movie without saying, hey, just because Christopher Nolan's name on there, it has to be like Christian Bale's Batman. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You know what I mean? Even if they weren't making a cinematic universe, I'm still very happy with the way Man of Steel came out.
Oh my god! It's one of my favorite superhero movies.
Yep.
It really is.
And this is the thing, like with the accuracy, the way that Superman fights in that movie, he fights just like that. Whenever he fights superhuman beings, he fights like that in the comic books. He even fights like that in cartoons. Like when you see the cartoons. Why are we complaining about it when we see it in the movie?
No, honestly, the cinematic universe, in my opinion, even though they really got it down, his fighting style is so much better in the cinematic universe than the cartoon and the comics. Like I like it's just the way they did it in the cinematic universe, and the viewers and the listeners could disagree with me all they want. It was so, not to go off topic here, but it was so Dragon Ball like.
Yeah.
I loved it 100%. I mean, even though they didn't have, like the way, especially, sticking with this.
Yeah.
The way he was fighting Doomsday, they had that beam struggle.
Oh my God, that's one of my favorite parts when Batman is running and he hides, and you're seeing Wonder Woman and Superman kind of like holding their ground while he's shooting that thing. Yeah. I love that scene. God. It's so comic book. Sometimes there are parts in that movie where I see it and I could just pause it and just draw it in my mind, like if you're reading it off the panel. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially with the laser, with the I-beam struggle too.
Yeah.
On top of that, when it was Doomsday and Batman, not Batman, Superman.
Wonder Woman and Superman.
Yeah, Superman and Doomsday were having that I-beam struggle. They actually had a power struggle for 2 seconds.
Oh, when they do the eye thing. Yeah. Oh, I love that part too.
Come on, man.
Like that Kamehameha scene.
Yeah, but that's my whole point. I love it.
But you can't. And what's fucked up is that if, let's say, Nolan made this movie and they literally said, hey, let's make a Superman trilogy and make it more like Nolan. Obviously, Superman is more faker than Batman, but we keep everything as real as possible. We would have never gotten that.
You think so?
A power struggle with, even if it was against Zod, I don't think we would get that. Because it would turn into a very comic book cartoon route. You understand what I'm saying? Like when I was watching Man of Steel for the first time, and I remember just being blown away with him fighting Zod, and they're punching each other through buildings, and it was like the way Superman 2 was, but better. You know what I mean? Because that was what I first thought. And then they fighting in space and then bringing it back down, and I was just like, oh my God, it's awesome.
But here's my thing with Christopher Nolan's take on Batman. If you think about it, though, removing the fantasy from Batman for viewers like you and viewers that actually want the fantasy in the from the comics on the screen.
I was one of the people that wanted. I'm not saying that. Once I saw Batman Begins, I accepted it for what it was, and I knew that every movie after that was going to be like this. But go ahead.
But here's what I'm going to try to compare it to, because it can be a bad thing, but for Batman, it was actually a good thing, and it actually helped Batman out a lot. His universe anyway. Mm-hmm. For example, and this is just completely off topic, but it actually shows like what I'm talking about. Godzilla.
Yeah.
When they did the first American Godzilla, they tried making it realistic as possible.
Yeah. And it didn't work too much.
It definitely backfired 100%. Because
sometimes you just gotta
for certain things you need the fantasy.
Yeah.
You need the fantasy.
The fantasy to carry the story.
Exactly. But for Batman, back to Batman, it doesn't necessarily, have to be fantasy in it, because for Batman, he's more of a realistic hero. Like he's your everyday guy. He's your everyday guy that just puts on a bat suit, walks around at nighttime.
But this is where you heard it. Because granted, but then you're not seeing it from the other side. Because if you make a realistic Batman, then all your villains have to be realistic. Because then you're killing it. Like then you can never make a movie where Batman has to fight Solomon Grundy.
That's true. But
then you can't create like what Tim Burton did. You can't create the Penguin like not even close to that.
That's true.
You can't make a Riddler as Riddly, like because you know why? It's gonna take away from that realism, and then you're having like that's why the other sequels of the Batman movie from '89 were cartoony in a way. They didn't believe in the movie they were telling either, and that's why they fucked it up. That's why, because then they turned it into literally a comic book, and we're like, all right, that's too comic booky. You're making a movie. Come up, meet that middle ground. And I think DC right now is meeting that middle ground where I can see him fight Solomon Grundy in the next Batman movie, and it still look realistic. It's that middle ground.
That's true.
Because even when he fought Doomsday, let's do air quotes for Doomsday from now on. Doomsday Subject 17, when he fought him, which wasn't even much of a fight, but like when he did that one like small scene where Doomsday Subject 17 had his minds, like he had his like looking at him and he shoots him with his ray and he uses Gatling gun to get away. Like that was all like 45 seconds of awesomeness right there. Because you were not gonna like if you didn't see it in this movie, you were always gonna read it in a comic book.
But and I don't understand why people are hating on this new universe so much, because
I think it's because it's too fake. It's one of my theories.
That could be it, but at the same time, it's like the promises that they're giving you in this universe. It's just it should give you something to look forward to. For example, Darkseid. The fact that Thanos is coming into the Marvel universe,
it's amazing.
And you got Darkseid here
to match it up. Awesome.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I really can't wait. And it's like, to the people that are listening right now, you guys, whoever hates that, is hating on the movie, stop. I mean, you guys got to learn how to separate.
You don't realize what's coming, like what we're getting. You
guys really got to stop, trying to compare to the comic universe and the cinematic universe, because it's just two different things. And, Christopher Nolan's universe, that's in the past now. Yeah. I mean, we gotta,
it's point to the past where they're not even stemming from it. Meaning in other media, they're not stemming from it. So let it go. Exactly. Enjoy them for the 3 movies that they are, but there's no external additive to it. Like, how like Star Wars has books and comic books and cartoons. This trilogy of Batman movies does not have any of that.
Yeah, it doesn't.
No cartoons based off of it. No comic books based off of it. No, nothing. There is no universe with this series.
But I mean, we cannot take away the fact.
Not taking away.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
But we can't. How can I put this? We can't ignore the fact that those 3 movies had a phenomenal storyline.
100% true.
Yeah,
100%.
we can't. I mean, and it's true that a lot of people do wish that Christian Bale would have just
carried it over.
But that would have one.
A person like me would have been upset, because I would have seen because I'm trying to tell you that his Batman can't. I don't see it. That's like, I don't know, like it just doesn't work, because I've got so invested into Christian Bale's Batman in a specific way that to just have him come out and then put him in a supernatural world where he's Batman and he fights, it just doesn't work.
I definitely understand that, but
and
they should have tried.
But do you think they were worth trying? They would have lost so much more.
But better yet, look at it like this. But even Dark Knight Rises they left off at a cliffhanger, because it was like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. We all know we hinted at the fact that he was the Robin of the Christian Bale.
A hint, but he wasn't Robin at the end of that movie.
Of course,
okay.
But at the same time, It's like, don't you think he could have carried the mantle into this universe?
I don't think we would accept it.
You don't think so?
Why do you think that people are not enjoying the DC movies now? Because they're giving us something that we, as regular moviegoers, are not accepting. Marvel is so much more inviting because they hold your hand. They don't take you to crazy places. And when they did take us to the most craziest place, which was Avengers Age of Ultron, it's not as much liked. Why? Because you got robots and talking robots and all this. I was having the time of my life.
I don't know. The first Avengers kind of took it there too.
Yes and no. Why? Because their leader was still a human being. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you see the difference between there?
Well,
and then
about after the credits when you see.
No, yeah, you got Thanos. Yeah, great. But you know how many people saw that scene and they was like, "What the hell is that?"
That's true. That's true. But yo, when I saw Thanos for the first time,
I was a kid in a candy store, bro.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, that's him. Like, especially when he turned around just to smile, I was like.
And that's why this conversation right here is already that disclaimer that we're not being picky and choosy on both sides. And I love Marvel. I love what they're doing. I see what they're doing. And soon they're gonna hit a wall, and they're gonna get to where DC is right now because they're gonna get there where they're not introducing anybody. And then you just got to go in and go in. They actually said that. They made a statement saying, pretty soon we're going to get somewhere we're not introducing anyone anymore and we're just telling stories. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, we're going to have Doctor Strange Part 4 and no more Iron Man because he'll quote-unquote possibly retire. And here's Captain America until he retires. And we're just going to keep going and adding more people to the roster and having a very much more quicker, like intro to these people. Yeah, and so, you know, be on the lookout because that's coming because that's where DC started. They was like, yo, fuck it. We're not going to do origin stories. We're going to, like, have Batman 20 years later. We're going to have Joker 20 years later. Superman just got here. Wonder Woman's been Wonder Womaning in for hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying? And then she quits sometimes. So we got her in her quitting moment. You know what I mean? Like, people were just not invested into that. It's so weird that they have to be fed, you know, systematically or the same exact way so they can enjoy themselves. And then that makes you realize, holy shit, man, there's more people that see these movies that don't know shit than the ones that do.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, there's a lot more people that need to hold their hands.
But you know what? These are...
You know Marvel's in trouble, right?
What's up?
You know Marvel's in trouble, right?
No, they're in trouble.
You know why I'm saying they're in trouble? Because the day that... You know, like, did you hear the new Iron Man thing story? Have you heard of the new character named Ironheart?
Yeah.
The whole passing the torch story?
Yeah.
You know that can happen at any time. They can actually get risky and do that in the movies, and guess what? We're going to hate it.
Yeah.
We're going to fucking hate it.
Because
yes.
You see it coming now, too, like with Steven Rogers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the fact that he's not going to be called Captain America anymore in the movies, I heard that. I actually read that in movie news. That he'll be quitting, and I think Iron Man will be quitting as well.
Yeah, but look how long it took them to tell that story, to get all their characters together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like...
I got you.
Like, over what? Like, 10 years now?
Yeah.
It took them 10 years
to just get on in shape, so to speak.
To get from where they were, from the first Iron Man, to probably even more than 10 years, or probably even less. I mean, but it's around 10 years.
Yeah.
From Iron Man straight to... what it is now, going on to Avengers Infinity War Part 1.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I know this much. People are going to die in that one.
I'd like to see Marvel have the balls to do that. If they finally do that, let's see.
It.
Where there will be, where people will die. I'm for it. Marvel still has yet to kill someone. I mean, for God's sakes, yes, granted, Superman didn't die, but we saw Superman die.
Yeah.
I'm talking about we saw him die. He got buried. He was dead. His arm was right through, you know what I mean? Doomsday's Subject 17's hand was right through Superman's freaking chest. You know what I mean? And if you see the Ultimate Edition, they actually show a much wider shot of that scene where he grabs a piece of the bone and pulls himself more in so he can get more reach to stab him with the spear. You don't see that in the regular version because they kind of blocked it out. You see him like reaching, but you don't see how he's reaching. You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean, balls. And that's what Marvel lacks is balls. They tell good stories, fun stories, but they don't have balls.
But
They don't have memorable. I don't feel they don't have memorable stories like the way that we've gotten with the first two movies. Suicide Squad, I'm not gonna say it's memorable, but they sure as hell open my eyes to the world that they are creating. You know what I mean?
It's starting to get annoying when you have all these people coming from the Marvel side into the DC side to watch the DC movies, and it's like, oh man, this movie sucked. Oh man, this movie. It's just the storytelling of this movie, and it's just like, do you guys not understand how to connect movies anymore?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like and it's just starting to get annoying because it's like,
You know what DC's doing that's different too? Their movies are actually sequels off of each other.
But that's my whole
Marvel
point.
doesn't do that. All their movies are standalone, and then they say little tidbits throughout the story. More or less than they do more. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, after Man of Steel, Batman is mad at Superman for what happened at the end of Man of Steel. Carry over into Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad was created because of what happened to Superman. They don't feel like they have anybody super to help them with the metahuman problem.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So I guess the Flash is still not there where he's publicly known. He's just more still in the secrets, because you saw like in the what Amanda Waller gave Bruce Wayne those files at the end of the other film. But
she did a fantastic job.
Oh, I love Viola Davis.
She
was
did a fantastic
awesome.
job.
I think she'll be an unmatchable Amanda Waller for years to come.
Yeah.
I think she did something really amazing. I just hope that people are understanding what I'm saying when it comes to what I'm trying to say. Nolan stuff. It's just like, get away from what they're doing there. Enjoy this vast universe of what DC's creating. And Marvel, they just got to be careful, because I'm still waiting for that one bad movie. They were very close sometimes, but they didn't. They ended up passing the bar. I personally don't think they made a horrible movie except for one. Iron Man 2 was terrible. I cannot stand Iron Man 2.
I thought Iron Man 2 and 3 sucked.
You thought 3 sucked?
Let me.
And that's the one with the Mandarin.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very
mad.
good movie, but we got sold short, and it goes back to the whole inaccuracies part.
No. Iron Man 2 and 3 sucked. 3 sucked hard.
Yeah, it's their most successful movie.
I thought their most successful movie
Out of the Iron Man movies? Yes.
Because it threatened Iron Man's career as far as a superhero. That's why I think it just, took off as much as it did.
But there are people that complained about it because there wasn't enough Iron Man.
No. I complained about it because I was looking for the Mandarin from the comics.
Yeah, and we thought we were getting him.
At first.
And then we were shitted on. Literally shitted on. And that's why that movie will only be good to me and not great. Because it had the potential to be a great movie. But then they're even showing you there that until... I think now they can actually change it. Iron Man was very realistic. It had the Christian Bale problem, the Nolan-omics problem, where his first enemy was a guy in a suit. And then we got Whiplash that's nowhere near, back to inaccuracies in comic books to film, nowhere near what Whiplash is in the comic books.
But that just goes to show how
got another guy in a suit.
That just goes to show how many people who don't know what it is to read from the comics go see the movie, because they don't know Whiplash. They don't know the Whiplash from the comics. They don't know the Mandarin from the comics.
No.
They don't know like a lot of things that are from the comics in the movie. And it's just like I think they go there to see what could movies do to make
they test waters.
Yeah, they definitely do. And it's just like
and then they give us a Mandarin that actually is because the guy called himself the Mandarin.
Yeah,
remember?
But DC is trying to rip the stuff from the comics
as much as possible, yeah,
and putting it on film, and it's like they get more mad if you were to do that.
They are getting more mad, and that's what upsets me. Is that they're literally giving you the most accurate way that their comic books can go, and putting them on film as best as they possibly can.
Yeah.
And they're trying to go with it, yo. Like, Suicide Squad, when I first heard that was being made, it was, in my mind, I was like, that movie's just not going to work. I don't think we, as a movie-watching people, are ready to see a band of evil people become heroes, by force.
Yeah. But,
And then on top of it is the ones that you mostly know, at least the ones I thought mostly people know. Apparently only people know Harley Quinn. They didn't know Deadshot. I know a lot of people that don't know who Deadshot is. And then they were confusing it with Deathstroke.
Well, here's the thing. Now, when it comes to Deadshot, did you like Will Smith's take on Deadshot?
Yes.
Because there are different Deadshots.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of very different Deadshots, but I could tell you right now for the movie version of him, it's gonna be a long time for me to accept another Deadshot. I need to see more Will Smith doing it before I can accept him.
He did fantastic.
I think he nailed it.
Yeah, he definitely
And I
did a
haven't
fantastic
said that
job.
about Will Smith in a long time, meaning him nailing a scene or him nailing a role, I should say.
Yeah.
Like the way he did in Men in Black or even as in Independence Day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he nailed that role. And I wanted, every time he was on screen, I was like, I need to see him. And it didn't even bother me that many times that he didn't wear the mask because I loved seeing him so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Harley Quinn, I think again, spot on to the way that she can be cinematically. She was super likable. She was super evil, and I'm invested. A lot of people like El Diablo because he had a lot of heart. I personally liked Enchantress. You know, a lot of people were like, "Oh, that ending sucked." I was totally fine with it. I'm not saying it was like fucking amazing. I'm just saying that I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Enchantress was cool. I liked her transformation. And then people were... Here's one thing that I didn't like. Everybody was like, what's up with that whole Enchantress thing before she turns? Like, why does she have to say that? I was like, I would say, ask the comic book writers because they're the ones who wrote it that way. She does say Enchantress and then turn. You know what I mean? And then people like say that's corny.
You know what? You know what it is? I don't know Enchantress that much.
I don't know her that much, but I do know that she had to
really
say her name in order to come out.
But here's another question for you though. Comparing the Nolan-omics Joker to Jared Leto's Joker.
Okay.
Are you okay with the Joker from the what we just saw?
Yeah,
the Jared
what we
Leto
got
Joker, the Joker we got now. Are you okay with that Joker?
I am totally okay. Why? Because, like I said, we got to see a small piece of him. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I don't feel that we should, make our judgments just yet because we still need to see him with Batman or going up against Batman. I'll decide whether I like Jared Leto once he's having a conversation with Batman.
Yeah.
You
did
know,
say that before too. You said that.
100% fact. Like
Yeah.
but him in the universe right now being Harley's boyfriend, I'm in love with that. Why? Because we're getting a Joker we've never seen before just by that alone. Just by that alone. All the Jokers we've ever gotten, we don't even have one that is like him. Like, we got a little bit of him in like, the Dark Knight trilogy, like, with the whole, like, he has a, band of goons and shit. Well, not even, because Heath Ledger didn't have a band of goons. He always had new people all the time. And then, like, he would always recruit people from other people's gangs. But you got a sense of like that Jared Leto has goons, you know what I mean? And I've always been a sucker for a bad guy with goons.
Yeah.
Call me old school. That's just the comic book way. And that's what I'm trying to hint at. We're getting the comic book versions the best possible way. And then they can add those cinematic versions like of them a little bit. But, going on, because let's put this part to rest, because I know that you had a problem with Joker and the Harley relationship with the fact that he doesn't treat her like shit, or as much.
Actually, you know what? I saw it again.
You did?
I saw a Suicide
And you
Squad
saw that
again.
he was a bit of a dick.
Yeah, he was definitely a bit of a dick. But you know,
But he was in love with her at the same time.
He wasn't around long enough to show how much he could treat Harley Quinn like shit.
Yeah.
That and you know what? I was just like, okay, maybe I should back away from that. From that, because it's like we still have yet to see more Joker.
Yeah.
And I can't.
And
because
I did,
you know what,
yeah.
he did abandon her for Batman to capture.
That's
for
dick
starting.
move right there.
And I have seen deleted scenes
where he slapped her.
Slapped her, and like.
And there's one more scene too.
Where she jumps into that.
The helicopter?
Not the helicopter, but like where she jumps into that little pool of chemicals or whatever.
Oh yeah, that scene. He was gonna leave her.
Yeah.
If you remember, like in terms of the film, he like literally because he knew she was in trance, and he was like, "Yo, she'll do whatever the fuck I want." So I don't even have to kill her, so to speak. She could kill herself, and that's what she said. Would you die for me? Yes. Would you live for me? Yes. And she threw herself in there, and he was gonna leave.
Yeah.
But then what's wrong? There's nothing wrong with Joker having a conscience.
We have yet to see that Joker, but my problem is with that Joker, he's too much of a gang leader rather than being Joker.
But that's the gangster in him, and gangster Joker is a leader.
They're bringing out the gangster way too much.
Think so? But I think I'm not saying we're owed that, but I think we need to see that.
Yeah, but you know that
he's a guy he's badass. He actually put his name on his bulletproof vest, saying it's the Joker. He didn't give a fuck who knew.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that Joker is still early. You know,
yeah, like super early.
They could still develop Joker way more into being more of the freak of nature Joker that everybody loves to see, and which is what we got from the Nolan-omics. Yeah,
but because this is actually what Joker does say, and Mr. Nolan did capture that part. Batman brings out the best in Joker, and Joker brings out the best in Batman.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying chill out with Leto.
Yeah.
Because if we get that, let Leto meet Batman. Let Affleck and Leto have their moment. And then we should make a real clear decision on how did Jared Leto do. Because we're just seeing him as Joker the boyfriend right now.
Yeah.
And I personally had no problem with that. Because it was brand new. You can't knock shit for being brand new. You know what I mean? Even if the fact is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if something's bad, you can be like, you know what? It was fresh. I just didn't dig it. But in my case, it was fresh, and I dug it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And everything was from her perspective. Because there's also another scene I didn't tell you about. When she actually jumps the helicopter, she actually makes it to inside the helicopter, right?
Yeah.
He pushes her. They cut that out.
You see? I did not see that.
They cut it out.
That.
He pushed her. They had an argument on the helicopter. As soon as he saved her, they were about to leave. They had an argument about something. I got to read it. I wasn't sure. But they had an argument about something that made him so upset that he pushed her out instead of her falling out when the helicopter was crashing. You know what I mean? So, like, he literally, so to speak, killed her in his mind. So they have this love-hate. I should say hate-love, not love-hate. They have a hate-love relationship where he will push her over.
That's what we need to see.
The problem is not a problem to me. But the problem is, and this is where Warner Brothers stepped in, PG-13. We can't have our star get pushed out of a helicopter by her quote-unquote boyfriend. In the rated R version, we can do that, but PG-13 we can't. So please, Warner Brothers, if you're listening, DC Films, please have this director, David Ayer, re-edit this movie properly and then put it out on Blu-ray.
This goes back to our conversation we had just a few minutes ago with Marvel versus DC.
Mm-hmm.
DC wants PG-13 movies like Marvel.
But see, they're making movies that can be PG-13. You can't really argue that because their movies really come out super PG-13. Yeah. Because why? They don't have characters that push people out of helicopters. We don't have characters that slap women. We don't have characters that are so super freaking depressed. They don't have characters that kill people. They don't have those things.
Yeah, but and I agree with you 100%. So DC definitely needs to stop.
Own to the maturitism of their fucking stories.
Exactly.
That's what they need to do.
Because if you watch the animated cartoon movies,
most of them
DC,
are mature.
Way mature.
Yeah, most of them are.
Especially the Killing Joke. Like we talked
about
this right before.
They embraced the rated R.
Come on.
They did. There was the first rated R cartoon movie because the other ones are like hard PG-13s, where they're like in that border. I mean, you can see the border in this. They don't look like they're leaving shit out, but it's like, dude, get there, make the hard PG-13. Yeah. I know you trying to scare off. You don't want to scare off the kids. You got Batman on screen. I totally get it. I totally get your dilemma. All I'm saying is take the plunge because you're hurting it more than you're helping it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
Luckily, it didn't happen too much with Batman vs Superman. Not too much. But then you see it get hurt a lot
Yeah.
because they were listening too much with what people are saying about Batman vs Superman. And guess what? Now people are saying they want it as serious as Batman vs Superman when it came to this movie. Stop fucking up your franchise. And I think that's why we're okay now, because this was the last movie made by the without the producer Geoff Jones. If you know who Geoff Jones is, he's actually a comic book writer of the DC world. He's also written stuff for Marvel like that, but he wrote like a lot of the most famous stories that are like the new stuff from like the New 52 and stuff like that. Like he wrote a lot of, he's like the man, you know, in the comic book world. And now he is the executive producer. He's the Kevin Feige guy behind the movies. And Wonder Woman is actually the first movie. So I'm super excited. It's going to be like a breath of fresh air for a lot of people, I hope. Not for me, because I'm enjoying what's going on.
Yeah.
But I just hope that they don't make me not upset, but I hope that they don't hold back too much and just find that middle ground where they can tell a little bit of a mature story and just keep it a little bit dialed back nicely to tell their PG-13 story at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, anything more to add?
I have nothing, man. But, you know.
Let me ask you this. Have I convinced you about Nolanomics?
Yeah, to a point, but I'm still trying to, you know, I still agree with the fact that I believe, you know, that they, and I'm pretty sure, you know, you agree too, that they've Christopher Nolan raised the bar.
He did.
He raised the bar. But I think is what we disagree on is the fact that about the whole, if it ruined the comic book universe, which I see your point, and I agree with your point, but at the same time, I believe it didn't ruin it. I believe it was it gave like a way for directors to, you know, okay, I need to do what he just did and try to raise the bar even further than Christopher Nolan did.
But I think that I think that the majority of the audiences are getting confused, and that's where it's fucking it up.
And I agree with you to that point where, you know, I think the you know, audience just needs to stop trying to carry over what, you know, Nolan did. And I think they just need to separate themselves from that. With that being said, that's all I have to say, you know.
Well, I don't know if you agree with me out there in podcast world. Is there a Nolan-omics? Is there not? Just feel free to comment below. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/thehellpcast. You can follow me on facebook.com/whatthehellpcast. You can follow me on Instagram, instagram.com/whatthehellpcast. You can find it on YouTube, and you can search there, what the hell did we just watch? And just comment. Tell us, is there a Nolan-omics? Are people too confused about the two different universes? You know what I mean? About the fact that the Dark Knight trilogy is dead and gone. It was here. It was awesome when it was here. And let's pave a way for a cinematic universe that DC is just starting and are ready to wow us as much as Marvel wowed us. You know what I mean? It took Marvel 10 years for DC to say, hey, we need to do what Marvel's doing. You know, and it's about time. It's about time. And I'm going to actually say one more thing before we close out. What if I told you that movie per movie, let's see, there's 3 movies, right? We got Man of Steel, the Batman vs. Superman, and Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah.
Let's say from the Marvel side, let's go for their first movie per movie, you know, parallel. You got Iron Man, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk. What if I told you by money they're leading DC?
Movie per movie?
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They're actually leading in money. They went to go see, just put it like this. Man of Steel didn't do as much as, not by much, but it didn't make a whole lot. Iron Man beat it. When Batman vs. Superman came out, it beat Iron Man and Iron Man 2's money. Okay?
Yeah.
And blew it away, actually, as a matter of fact. And then Suicide Squad, though it has not made as much money domestically as Iron Man and Iron Man 2, it did beat Incredible Hulk, and it's like borderline. It's almost there. It's almost ready to pass it. But worldwide, it's 600. It just broke 600 million worldwide inside of a month. That is a success, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and The Incredible Hulk did nowhere near that much money
Not even
worldwide,
close.
even.
Not even close.
You know what I mean? So, have that to ponder on, you know. And then the next movie is Wonder Woman, the very first movie that a woman is going to be a superhero, and people are invested in that. And that's also what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to prove that people are trying to be way more invested in DC, in the DC world. And they just don't think that, critics anyway, they don't think that they're making the movie that they should be making. But I think they don't know shit.
Yeah. No.
And I think that we do. Hence why we as an audience are actually more happier with Suicide Squad than the critics are.
Yeah, you should never go by what critics say. I will always go by what the people say instead of
Not
critics.
too much, because some of them, they talking out of their ass.
Yeah, true. But at the same time, it's. I really feel like when I go review movies or read reviews, it's definitely the people rather than critics. Because
you got to hear the ones that have reasonings in their minds.
Yeah, definitely look for the ones that have reasonings, not just.
You can't say that Man of Steel sucks because I hate the color of his cape.
Yeah, exactly.
People say that though, dumb shit like that. But save that for another podcast.
Absolutely.
Just let us know, please. How did John do? I think he's a winner. You already got all my links there and everything like that. Just follow us, comment, share. Nolan-omics. Let us know what you think of that. Tell me, am I full of shit? Say if John's full of shit. He probably was wrong the entire time we had the conversation.
Probably was. I'm just saying. I'm just going by from what I see.
Yeah. Same thing goes with me, man. I could be totally wrong. And Nolan-omics is just complete farce. So on that note, this is Lewis.
This is John. Not the not so good looking John. The one that, wearing the mask.
Yeah, you might as well keep the mask, for this.
Yeah, trying.
You should have been wearing a mask for this podcast, for this specific episode.
Yeah, but I leave it to the viewers, to the listeners to try to match my face with my voice.
Become a mystery. Swear to me. So, on that note, ladies and gents, superheroes and superwoman heroes of the world and supervillains too, we all love you. I hope you enjoyed my 10th episode of What the Hell Did We Just Watch? So on that note is peace out, Joe.
Goodbye.